Well, Blue Eyes is actually doing very well. We get another look at what Tellarknights are cooking up, and we have more Shaddolls, too. Sure, you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on us. It's really cool to see that Blue Eyes White Dragon in its regular incarnation, it's still actually doing well right now in the competitive space. When you kind of, take a second to realize, the state that Blue Eyes has been kind of left in, it leaves a little bit to be desired. Because right now, Drill Beam and the Primite cards in general, these really are not doing enough. Most of the current meta has the ability to bypass and blow out these cards way beyond, your average imagination, which does kind of create an interesting discussion about, how are we going to go forward when, approaching this deck? Well, it's hand traps. Harmonia has been the latest addition that you've been given. I do see, we're building Lulu Walleth into the deck now because, you get this nice little, during the end phase of Scars Engraved, because with Centering Special Summon the Light Monster, that's a spellcaster's attack equals his own defense. I never would have guessed that we could Harmonia drop Lulu Walleth and then get immediate access into the Maiden on the next turn. It's a consistency enabler to give this deck a little bit more push. And honestly, Blue Eyes needs really about as much help as it can get. I also do see that we're playing Primite Scream in the side deck as a tech choice to be able to control the opponent. I think this is actually pretty good. It's basically interactable through your Primite stuff. You do want access to power cards like this because their job is to make sure that you can actually play the game. All right, if your opponent's just going to regurgitate through your field and blow you out, you don't really get much of a chance to kind of set up and play the game. So it does become a little bit sad that, we don't really get that setup time. So I do think that this is kind of a nice little assist for this deck. Next up here, we get to see the other Tellarknight list. Now, I'm glad to see that this got posted publicly. I know a lot of people saw the other list, saw, like the Pear Bear Scare, and they weren't necessarily that became the standard for a little while. But what happens when, we actually have the list that performed well? Well, that's exactly what we have here. The goal with your deck is to basically, we want to get Ptolemaeus up and running. And it's so bad because at the end of the day, this is a degenerate turn skip deck, right? But the thing is, you get some little extra cheesy movements along the way. I do see, obviously, a lot of your extra deck's going to be dedicated to one-of slots. The few exceptions are going to be Cauticus, and then obviously Ptolemaeus is just going to be your extra little free slot. But everything else is just going to resolve kind of around one-ofs just to be able to get you to do your thing. I will tell you, I would recommend, if you're very serious about wanting to learn how to play this deck, I would go watch some of the YouTube tutorials. The combo lines are pretty impressive. There are a lot of different branching points. I had a friend that sat down and learned this, and the things he told me was we have a lot of different ways to go down different paths depending on how you open up. So it's a deck that, even though it's rank 4 turbo at the end of the day, you still need to know which paths you're going to be forced to go down depending on the situation of the opening hand. That early construction that you're going to be seeing will be really determining which routes that will best be suited for this deck. So I think that's kind of cool, honestly. But there you guys have it. This is the second challenger not playing Pear Bear Scare. It just so happens that coming out of 2 national championships back to back, we had different looks and different takes for people to kind of develop these lists. Definitely interesting, to say the least. Next up here, we got to see more Shaddolls. Well, I'll be darned. First of all, I'm liking that this list is playing a Loober Pooper. Okay, we are doing the branded package. So, this ends up being what? Branded Shaddolls at the end of the day. Because you get access to the Fallen of White, which allows you to go down this combo line, or it also puts a Blazing Cartesia into rotation for you. The cool thing about Blazing Cartesia access is this is a spellcaster and it is a light monster. We can use this to enable into the construct, and we're able to go. As long as you got a doll plus this, congratulations, you've met the requirements to make the construct, which is basically going to be your starter for this deck, which I do think is kind of cool. I do see this list is playing 2 App Cologne. That's very techy. I like the idea that App Cologne gives you a little bit extra flavor for this deck to kind of be able to push them. Because, I mean, the goal is what? You're going to use one to get the Schism up and running. It means that we actually can make the second one. It's one of the cool things I like about this card. This thing can't be destroyed by battle. You know how much of a pain in the butt that is for certain matchups that they actually cannot deal with App Cologne? I learned that very recently when I was last playing this deck. You get to set up this can't be destroyed by battle, and your opponent just looks at it and goes, what am I supposed to do about this? The answer is nothing. Also, just having the giant access to this as a, you know, dump 3 target, I think is very, very funny. But overall, Shaddolls, you kind of have a lot of different cool fusion builds to work with. I mean, you can do Draco Tail, you can do Brandy, you can go play the pure build. With this build, I mean, you're only getting 1 Lev Shaddoll fusion out of it, so I mean, you don't really get craziness in the way that you would with like the rest of it. So Void Vanishing just becomes, you know, a card that we can slot in as like a 1-of for the deck. Next up, 54 cards. Daring today, weren't we? So Enneacraft has just become the boogeyman of the room. This is the deck that you take to an event and you go, today I don't feel like letting anybody have fun in the room. And I mean, I don't blame you for that decision. Being able to resolve Zoborg the Megaturd and rip through things from the opponent is just crazy. And also, it's very telling that this deck just continues to get away with abusing Subspace Battle. You know, right now, for whatever reason, there's just no decks that are playing, you know, better options to counter Subspace Battle. And it's very, very interesting that, you know, without Nibiru running around in the format, you know, Subspace Battle just goes, I'll go ahead and add my 3,000 attack point monsters that I need. So going into your turn, you know, I'm going to have all of the devastating Enneacraft cards to be able to punish you. It's crazy that that's how that works, but okay. Also do see for side decking here, we are doing Gordian Slicer. This card has become more of a centerpiece in clearing up things. My community keeps telling me this card's dog shit, but I mean, it's so strange that it keeps popping up in all of these lists. I only need 1 starter to play the game. Or actually, you know, usually 1, 2, but you know, you get these pieces going. Like, holy crap, man, you are just kind of off to the races and good to go. Also, I mean, all of the Fallen and Virtuous targets that you've gotten here. This deck is very unfun to play against, and I can understand why people are going to be very frustrated continuing to have this deck run around in the format. But it's the modern Pac-Man deck, you know. It munches up the entire opponent and spits them out through burn damage. Next up, we had another 60-card hero variant. Why is the 60-card hero deck so popular right now? Like, what have I missed that has suddenly popularized the idea of heroes wanting to play this? And I mean, we just came off of another list that was playing triple masked hero Fountain in the main deck, where they were extending out more of the idea of, you know, what if we branch out the numbers here and start testing out more consistency enablers? And I guess that's fine, right? But at 60, let's draw some hands here. I'm kind of curious. Okay, we drew, oh, hey, we got the good card, but we also got the Evil Assault to kind of start. And I guess we're just using the Evil Assault to bring out a starter, so I guess that's fine. We got a Hero Lives plus Miracle Ejector. Hey, we got Rhoda. Man, I'm good at this game. We got the Adjusted Gold. Well, you know, I guess, when in Rome. Why are we, so we're just doing this to add the Dark Fusion? I guess. That's so weird. Looking at the way that this, actually, Mr. Gold can add a monster that mentions it. Okay, never mind. I guess we're just using it to search for Dead End Prison here. Which I guess ends up working. You're just using this as more of the generic fuser enabler now. Huh. Interesting. Who would have guessed? My hero deck has evolved yet again. So what do you guys think about these interesting lists? Please take a second to leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here during the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.